Good night, friends. Optimistic map. Red strokes indicate not occupied territories, but zones of fire damage. Moreover, Transnistria does not have such. They are shaded with an incomprehensible purpose. As for Zelensky's statement, after a conversation with the head of the European Commission, he said that the issue of Ukraine's application for EU membership would be resolved within a few months. From this it is clear how much time the European Union takes to resolve the Ukrainian issue. Mariupol airport completely came under the control of the Donetsk People's Republic. Left bank too, but there are sweeps, and the second and third times. Powerful fire strikes are inflicted on Azovstal, where the Azov Nationalist Battalion is located. Russian aviation destroyed the battery of the MLRS Grad in the Chernihiv region. In Nikolaev, the corpses of servicemen of the Kiev regime are being collected even now. The authorities, in short, answer that in general terms, so as not to set people up, 200s and 300s will be several hundred. There was no assault in Avdiivka, a powerful fire strike was delivered on the identified first echelon and on the military-civilian administration. It was destroyed, the scouts entered the front lines. They did not meet any resistance, without fire contact. But since there was no order to attack, they returned to their original positions. In Kharkov, they knock out everything they can, but more and more often Ukrainian soldiers hide behind civilians. In particular, in Kharkov they sit in a working perinatal center. The village of Tsirkini adjacent to the district Saltovka, directly adjacent in the district of the district, came under the control of the local territorial defense, but with the only difference that now it works together with the armed forces of Russia. As a result of the strike, a parking lot with Ukrainian combat aircraft at the Lvov plant was destroyed. This has already been confirmed. Azerbaijani planes were also disposed of there. The command of the air forces of the armed forces of Ukraine reported that the Caliber missile strikes are carried out even from the waters of the Caspian Sea. But this is not surprising. What difference does it make to them where? From the Caspian they beat, including in Syria. Street fighting continues in Severodonetsk, and the southern outskirts of Rubizhne are being cleared. There are fights both for Popasno and in Popasna itself. In the territory controlled by the Kiev regime, beatings of people tied to poles by people in uniform continue. This is the law and order here. At the same time, the West does not mind. Therefore, I ask everyone who can collect, translate and distribute these videos in the West. The armed forces of Ukraine, in anticipation of the amphibious operation of the Russian armed forces, have mined not only the coast on which mines are now exploding, but also the nearby water area with floating mines. As a result, some mines were torn off their anchors and are now attributed to Romania. In general, you understand what it is. A very interesting statement from Vereshchuk. The Vice Prime Minister of Ukraine spoke about how the green corridors work today. She said that for the whole day it was possible to withdraw about 13,000 people in different directions. Quote, today the humanitarian corridor Mariupol, Zaporizhia worked. About 5,000 people have been taken out and we expect another 500 people. Approximately 8,000 people will come out of the Sumy by the end of the day. Vereshchuk did not say anything about the fact that these people were able to leave Mariupol in much larger numbers only due to the fact that part of the city was liberated from Ukrainian nationalist battalions. She clarified that it was not possible to carry out the evacuation in the Kharkov direction since it was the Russian side that thwarted it. But we have never heard this before. In addition, the Kiev regime managed to bring humanitarian aid to the Chernihiv and Sumy regions. But what help? Styrofoam was delivered to the Chernihiv region and we already saw it yesterday. From Russia. Photo of the Petersburg apartment of Belai, who published a photo of Bandera on the website of the Immortal Regiment. The states of the Eurasian Economic Union are switching to mutual settlements in rubles. Meanwhile in the world, the United States hopes to lift many of the sanctions against Russia if the war ends and Ukraine's sovereignty is restored. The State Department announced this. If Poroshenko and Zelensky are sovereigns for the United States, then there will be no problems with this. New cover of the French magazine Charlie Hebdo. €2 for a liter of gasoline, ride Ukrainians, it's free. The first refugees from Ukraine were met in Ireland. Colorful refugees. On the face of pure Ukrainians. The office of the Polish president considers refugees from Ukraine to be Russians. To do this, they print instructions in Russian. This is not a mistake, this is a conscious policy of the Polish government, a reminder of the Volyn massacre will follow. French farmers are on strike against soaring fuel prices. They refuse to talk to Biden in the Emirates. British Prime Minister Johnson, who went on a Middle East tour, came to his aid, but he was also left empty-handed. Weird? But plus they refuse to make any concessions on oil production. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Zhao Lijian's answer to a journalist's question about China's responsibility for supporting Russia. Cited, the United States should seriously think about its role in the Ukrainian crisis and make due commitments and take practical steps to alleviate the situation in this country and solve the problem, rather than continue to add fuel to the fire of the escalating conflict. In general, China is ready every day to show the United States in its place, what to do, and who is to blame. That's all for now. All the best. Goodbye.